And we are on. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joffy's VIP room. I'm your host, of course, Joffy. Welcome to the VIP room where we talk about video game reviews, play the video game a little bit. We also talk about movie reviews, and what I'm just now starting to do, my guest appearances from good people that I met all over the world in every aspect, pretty much from school, from the job, from acting, from just on Facebook, social media. These are my brothers. I wish I could ask the women to join this, but hey, ladies, that's on y'all. Maybe y'all get on the next one after y'all see how we go in on this film. So, with that being said, we got my brother Steven here. Steven, say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody?
That's what's up.
What's up, man?
Appreciate you, Steven. We got my brother Derek over here. Derek, say what's up
What's
to the people.
happening? Hey, what's up?
Appreciate it. We got my homeboy Milton here. Milton, say what's up to the good people.
How y'all doing?
Okay. Cool. We got my brother Ulrich here. Ulrich, say what's up to the good people out there.
Hello. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate you. And we have my brother David here as well. David, say what's up to the good people out there.
What's up, people? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Cool. So we did have another individual that's supposed to join us. He probably got tied up with something. So I told him to jump in whenever he's ready, if he can. If not, then it's all good. We'll get him on the next one. So this Zoom meeting right here is for Wonder Woman 1984. This movie was well hyped. We've been waiting for this movie for so long. Of course, we know we all dealing with the pandemic, and we all just been looking for some sort of entertainment. We all been ready for this film. After the success of Wonder Woman 1, I'm not sure the exact box office draw that she had, but it actually exceeded expectations. I enjoyed it. I'll let these gentlemen here speak upon it. We'll go over the synopsis real quick for Wonder Woman 1984. Then after that, I'll get into everyone that's in this Zoom meeting, their thoughts and ideas on Wonder Woman 1984. And of course, I'll share my little tidbits at the end as well. So Wonder Woman 1984 is a PG-13 film. Came out, of course, December 25th, 2020, action adventure with an incredible runtime of 2 hours and 35 minutes. My God. So on IMDb, it has a 5.8 out of 10. 65% on Rotten Tomatoes like this film, and 59% on Metacritic like this film as well too. Google users rated this at 73%. I don't know what Google users are, but hey, it is what it is. So let's read the synopsis real quick. And the synopsis starts off like this. Diana Prince lives quietly among mortals in the vibrant sleek of the 1980s. An era of excess driven by the pursuit of having it all. Though she's come into her full powers, she maintains a low profile by curating ancient artifacts and only performing heroic acts incognito. But soon, Diana will have to master all of her strength, wisdom, and courage as she finds herself squaring off against Maxwell Lord and Cheetah, a villainess who possesses superhuman strength and agility. The release date, like I said earlier, was December 25th, 2020. Director was Patty Jenkins. As well, on the first one, Patty Jenkins was the director. Of course, based off the comic books of Wonder Woman by William Moulton Markson, with a astounding budget of 200 million. Woo, 200 million. Okay, so let's read the cast real quick and then we'll get at it. Go ahead and get your cups ready, gentlemen. So, Gal Gadot, of course, plays Wonder Woman. Chris Pine came back. Kristen Wiig plays a Cheetah. The amazing Pedro Pascal, who just does amazing almost everything he's done. Connie Nielsen, Robin Wright, and a handful of others. We're not gonna get too much into the rest of the cast, but I do know one Facebook friend said her friend was cast as an extra in this film. So kudos to her, hats off to her. We all know how hard it is to make it into this industry until you actually get into it. So hats off to that person. I don't know their name, but I do know the friend of the mutual friend. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let me take a swig of water before we get. Let's all cheers before we get this started. I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna drink from both of us. I wish I should have got something a little bit stronger. So okay, so
Drinking vodka and orange juice for you.
Appreciate you, sir. So okay, so I'm gonna pick at random, and so who I'm gonna pick is, let's see, Steven. I'll let you go first, brother. You have the floor. We're gonna put our mics on mute. The floor is yours, brother. So go ahead, go in, go ham, brother. Let us know what you think. Good, bad, and the ugly.
All right. So going into this film, I wasn't super stoked on it. I didn't have a lot of expectations for it based on the trailer. I knew they was going for the cheesy 80s vibe type superhero movie. And so the good things that I can say about it is the performance of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Incredible. As always, Pedro Pascal, loved him as the villain. And I wasn't too sold on the chick that played Cheetah until, later on towards the end where she manifested into Cheetah. And so the pacing of the movie, it dragged a bit. Uh, I didn't like the whole uh, Trevor, how he was coming back. I didn't like that with the wish and the action sequences. I know a lot of people, they was, raving that it didn't have that much action. And I don't think the first one had a lot of action. I think they had about the same bit of action towards it. The story is where I understood what they were trying to do with the story, but it could have been done, I think, a little more better and a little more fleshed out. If y'all understand what I'm saying. Uh, but furthermore, I had fun. I wasn't that bored at times. I enjoyed it. I do prefer the first one over this one. Um, I think, you know, they could have fleshed out in the modern time, since we know, she joins up with Superman and Batman and all of them. I understand that, they're doing the Snyder cut, with, which is what, I think the story should have been somewhere up between that instead of going from, I think the first movie was the 60s or the 40s, and then jumping into the 80s. I think they should have just made it in between, from the last time we saw her until we see her join up with Superman and Batman and the rest of the heroes. But on and off, it was an okay movie. It wasn't spectacular. I wasn't wowed. It was okay for what it was. That's pretty much all I have to say on it.
Okay, bet. Appreciate you, Steven. Appreciate you for your thoughts. Okay. So we got Steven's thoughts. So I'm picking another one at random. I'm gonna go ahead and say Milton. Go ahead, give me your thoughts on it, brother. Go ahead. You got
Oh man. I I was really looking forward to this movie. I I like the first one. Um, I like Gal as Wonder Woman. I liked her in Justice League. I liked her in Batman vs Superman. I liked her in her first movie. Um, the problem I had with this movie was pacing and relevancy. So they opened up the movie showing her doing this trial. And this trial is extensive, it's important, it's what she really wants. But it literally has nothing to do with the movie itself. It only set it only sets up the armor, the shield, which is another issue I had because she got the shield and it did absolutely nothing. She used the shield to get scratched off like a cat post, you know. But it was cheesy. It had an '80s feel. Everybody was like acting overly dramatic, like the scene in the mall with the robbers. Like they couldn't rob efficiently. They just had to drop the gun and make facial expressions, and then it was like a whole 25-second winking montage between her and the little black girl just winking at each other. You know, I honestly believe that this movie was just them striking the pot while it was still hot because just how great the first movie was, and they didn't want to like have a vacuum of space with no DCEU film. So basically, um, they're really banking on the Snyder cut. So with them banking on the Snyder cut, it really got them in a bind. So with this movie, they wanted to put out another Wonder Woman movie because it did so well. But to be safe, I believe they just put it in the 80s, which is before the timeline that we're in now, because they don't know exactly how we're going to be receptive to the Snyder cut. So if the Snyder cut does well, then they're going to make a movie with her, possibly tying in everyone else. So if they would have made a movie in this timeline right now, and they can't really use Ben Affleck Batman, can't really use Henry Cavill Superman, they can't really drop Easter eggs how they want to because they really don't know what they're going to do with them. Um, I so with the movie, it was just long and you know the villain that like it gave me the Amazing Spider-Man 2 vibes with Jamie Foxx being Electro, a little goofy guy that just can't get right, that don't have any friends, and then the moment he get power, he corrupts. And I felt like they could have did it a little bit better, gave a little bit more backstory. Max Lord, he finally did the right thing because of his Asian son. It was just a lot of things in this movie that was just like, I get it, but it's campy. Like this movie may have did well possibly in the 80s, but if you're gonna retell a story in the 80s, you should at least, I don't know, update the way that you deliver it. It's just a lot of things. Like Trevor coming back, I don't really see how he fit into all of this. Like, why would you bring him back just to give him up when you know she was gonna do that anyway? Because she's a hero. She's Diana. She's Wonder Woman. Um, I really did expect the villain to be the person that created that stone. I didn't expect for the villain to actually be Maxwell Lord to the very end, and he ended up stopping everything. So I thought maybe they were gonna show another guy for her to slay, but that's really pretty much all I have to say about it. I mean, it was a good movie. It was cute. It was just long for no reason. It's just long, and it just seems like everything works out perfectly in a campy way. Like everybody renounced their wish. Like somebody could have just asked for a pair of shoes. You mean to tell me the person that asked for a pair of shoes renounced their wish? Like it's just a lot going on in that movie, man. And I felt like it was just a placeholder to keep fans and comic book fans satiated with this movie until we give y'all the Snyder cut and we get the feedback from Ford. That's just all I got.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. Good. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go to David. We're gonna go to you next, brother. Share your thoughts on it, man.
Okay, overall, I thought the movie was pretty good. I'll say that it was good. Um, I liked the way they paid homage to Linda Carter in the movie. And I liked the way they paid homage to the actual TV show, Wonder Woman. Because the first season of Wonder Woman was set in Germany with World War II, like the first movie was, and this one was in the 80s, like the TV show was. So I kind of like that kind of flow of the 80 vibe. I kind of feel like they stole it from Captain Marvel. That's what Captain Marvel did, had it set in the 80s. And it was that this one was more cheesier than Captain Marvel. It kind of went over the top with the 80s vibe, but it was okay. The bad. I did not like the cheetah in the movie. I didn't feel it. It didn't feel real to me. What I would like to see for these comic book movies to actually just go read the comic book and copy and paste. Why can't they do that? Why they make things so difficult by changing the origin of these characters? It makes something up. It made no sense. She just became the cheetah all of a sudden. It's like she wanted to be an apex predator. There are so many apex predators. Why was it a cat? When the actual origin was the extraordinary, she did make a wish to become a cheetah because she was jealous of Wonder Woman. Same thing with Maxwell Lord. I mean, they just changed everything about these people. I'm like, why did they do that? Oh, it's so simple. People just grab a comic book. The writing, it writes itself. Y'all doing the same thing X-Men did with their crappy movies. Y'all did the exact same thing. This is like, it's just annoying. It's like, the movie was good, but it was like, I watched it again last night and I fell asleep on it. I'm like, this movie is really actually kind of boring. All of a sudden, she started flying through the air. Like, oh, now she know how to fly, just based off of Steve Trevor. she grabbing lightning, she grabbing clouds and stuff with the lasso, flying through there. Like, okay, how did all this come about? And what was about the first 5 minutes of the movie? Why was that in there? It played no part in the movie at all. Like, we just gonna put a childhood in and tell this little story. And okay, we're not gonna tell you why it is though. Made no sense. And the same thing about the armor. Why was the armor there? Like you said, it was a scratching post. And then she took it off. That was pretty much the ugly too. I mean, like the movie itself was just like, it was like a filler. I wanted more. I expected more. I wasn't hyped up about the movie. I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna come out. I'll go check it out. But I wasn't too hyped up about it. I wasn't too excited about it. So I didn't, and I watched it for free. So I'm like, I'm not too upset about it. I was sitting at home, got to pause when I wanted to, got to drink my little drink when I wanted to. So no harm or foul on mine. I'll probably watch it again just to dissect it some more. But overall, from a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it about a 7. Nah, it's a good movie night when there's nothing else on. That's all I gotta say.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. Okay. So we got y'all 2 left. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll go to Ari. You got the flow, homie.
Thank
Let us
you.
know.
So first, I just want to say, like, I'm not a huge comic book person. This is something that I'm like kind of stepping into new. I think me and James kind of connected over that on Facebook because I'm trying to get more into comics and kind of research more about these characters. But I am, however, a playwright, a writer, a poet, and a filmmaker now. So what's interesting to me is that we've all known that the DC films are trash. Everyone knows this. DC, Marvel, everyone knows that the DC films are trash. And it's to the point where they create huge marketing budgets to pander to us when Marvel is off season because they know that we love superhero movies. Now they've created a genre. Well, actually, Marvel created the genre of the superhero movie. So now when everything is slotted, they wait until D3 announces and all of that, Disney and Marvel, all those people announce first, and then DC follows up and like, okay, well, while y'all off, these 4 months, we're gonna have this film roll out. And I know how that works as a film person, as a theater person, I know how that works. I know that at the end of the day, everything is about the dollar, right? But I would at least want people to pretend as if they want to make art. I would at least like to feel as if there was effort put into the storytelling. I could kind of feel that with Aquaman. I could kind of feel that with Shazam, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed both of those. This was a tragedy. I've been telling people it's been a Tyler Perry production. Wonder Woman 1984 was a Tyler Perry production. Fight me. I don't care. It's the truth. And I'm going to unpack that as to why a little later on. But let me preface this. I'm a huge fan of Wonder Woman. I'm a huge fan of the first film. Day before yesterday, we rented out a private theater to see the show for my friend's mom's birthday party. So not only did we spend a grip, we like to spend money, we spent a grip because we were excited. We got all dressed up. We bought the souvenirs and shit and all of that. And that happened, right? So there are some points that I want to touch on from my other brothers on this panel here, and then some original points. So I think it was Steven that talked about the first one not really having a lot of action either. No, the first one didn't really have a lot of action, but what it did have was intentional fight scenes. So like, we knew that when Wonder Woman finally wanted to get Buck, like she got Buck. The scene and the fighting and all of it was earned. The character was advancing herself to the next level, going through her obstacles and kicking some ass along the way, all the while looking like Gal Gadot will always look, right? That's why we come to see the movie. In this film, we barely got any action sequences, and when she did fight, she got her ass whooped by Kristen Wiig, which is another thing I'll touch on later. Okay. Second thing, adaptation of the comic book. Why don't people just like adapt things from the comic book like David mentioned? So a lot of times these producers are like, well, we know the comic book is this, but we have to adapt it to make it better for film. And I do understand that as a writer, some stuff is not as active on the page. So when you try to like make it happen in person, sometimes it don't always hit. Like a lot of the stuff, for reference, Lovecraft Country, right? A lot of the stuff that's in the book for Lovecraft Country is nowhere near as interesting as the TV show. It's just, you got to be able to see it and to do it, especially for your protagonist. So I could have understood them changing some of the origin stories had it been more interesting, but it was not. There was nothing interesting about this. I was excited about the idea of the 1980s. I think that cheesy camp sort of thing could have been a nice, refreshing backdrop to the superhero fare. For reference, think of Thor Ragnarok, right? Like that was a comedy, even though it was an action superhero movie. And it was great. It was really awesome. It played to the comedy tropes, the slapstick comedy, like all of that stuff. And it was still a kick-ass movie where we got great action scenes and oh boy, Hemsworth looking like oh boy Hemsworth, right? That's why we come to see it. But this gave us a little bit of 80s, but not the feel of the 80s. Like in the summary you just read, James, it talked about like the excess of the 80s. We didn't get any of that. Like we saw one scene where the people were like I think they were buying something in a tourist stop, but we didn't get any 80s, nothing. We didn't get no music. We didn't get any like homages to classic 80s films. I would have loved to see like homages to like, I don't know, 16 Candles or motherfucking Breakfast Club or, you know, stuff like that to really like play it up like we do with Stranger Things or like we do with anything Ryan Murphy does. He loves to like give us little nuggets of the past and all of that. And why I say it's a Tyler Perry production, because we had a powerful woman of color sacrifice herself for a man. Now, here's the thing. I know that she's super. I know that everyone had, like all heroes have to do the sacrifice in order to fight for the greater good. I do understand that. However, in 2020, I didn't want to see a woman powerless on screen. Why are we still doing this? That's tired, that's contrived. I know there was a female director, but I think the screenwriters were men. Not okay. And I could tell that from how it was shot, how things were written. Nothing sounded authentic and original. It just sounded outdated and tired. Like, I don't want to see a woman risk her life and be powerless when I bought a ticket to see Wonder Woman. Like I bought a ticket to see her take up her space and to kick ass. Instead, she was losing her powers, getting her ass whooped, and it was a tragedy. The costuming. So like they did have that little sequence, that little dance homage with like the clothing and stuff. But for the most part, there was nothing that like screamed 80s as far as like how we can inject this into the storytelling. And 80s music. Like we didn't get like no, I don't know, Wham or like, I don't know, Hanson, something to just make it really like, if we're gonna be campy, there's a way to do it and still be authentic. So, okay, I'm wrapping it up. Lastly, the body double thing with Chris Pine being inhabited by the other body was just, that didn't make sense. And I really wish that Linda Carter was more utilized better and more efficiently. So there's that. I want my money back.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Okay. So it's all five. I'm sorry. It's all five of us. Well, you four putting your thoughts on it. Good thoughts from all of you. You're getting a lot of thoughts from everybody, which I appreciate y'all. So Derek, I'm gonna have you bring an anchor because right before I made the little rule about how we go about doing this, I reminded myself that you said you had notes.
Yeah.
When somebody says they have notes, oh my God. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's this about to be, y'all. This is about to be entertaining. I'm looking forward to this. Let's go. Let's.
Okay, so first and foremost, I do have one request if I'm gonna do this the way I feel like I need to. I'm gonna need everybody to unmute because I need to gel with everyone else in the chat.
All right, we all are off.
All right. Unmute.
You know,
Ellen, ready
I
to
felt like
gel.
that needed to be done when somebody said all the movies were trash.
Okay, so cool. First question, my guy. Kudos to you for actually shouting out Ryan Murphy because I'm a personal fan of American Horror Story, specifically 1984,
Absolutely.
which is I think what you were looking for.
Yes.
Because I think you wanted 80s porn, right?
Not in a sense. But yes, that's it. That is what I thought I was signing up for in the marketing of it, in all of it. Like even in the main little marketing thing, it's the multicolored 80s font and all of that.
Yeah. But even so, I'm sure as a few of y'all previously stated, whenever it comes to DC and their movies, live action that is, because the cartoon universe is the shit.
Yeah, the cartoon universe.
It's really good. That Harley Quinn cartoon's great.
Yes, exactly. So with that being said, you have to set the bar for your expectations very low.
Yeah.
When it comes to the live action movies.
Yeah.
So 80s porn, I already knew that I wasn't gonna get that, especially on par with like American Horror Story 1984, which was very poignant and very specific to that time period.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about, and here's my problem with most things that take place in the 80s. They have this Technicolor, ultra bright, nostalgic glasses on version of it. And as a dude that was raised by a mom who was born in 71, she was a teenager in the 80s. So I could always go to her and ask her, yo, what was it really like? And we actually watched Stranger Things season 1 together. And she was like, yo, that's probably the best depiction of the 80s I've seen on TV. Because season 1 of Stranger Things, everything wasn't bright.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't straight 80s porn. It was just things as they were back then. It was very simple. You could tell you were in the 80s, but it wasn't fucking overstated.
Right.
And I feel like Wonder Woman 84, they really tried to do the whole 80s porn thing, but they greatly missed the mark. Also, I heard a couple of people had an issue with the opening scene. As far as how it didn't necessarily, in their eyes, connect to the rest of the movie, but it actually set it up. Because if you remember the line that Jenny, Robin Wright, said to Wonder Woman, I'm sorry, like that's always gonna be Jenny to me.
I keep forgetting about that.
Like,
thank you.
Like fuck Antiope, however you pronounce her name, I was like Jenny.
Jenny.
But anyway, the main thing she said to her was, no true hero is born of lies. So that whole sequence was basically to set up that to get you into the mindset of what this movie was supposed to be about. Which leads me to my next point. I hated the fact that this movie actually had no true villain. The true villain of this movie, and as a matter of fact, this whole thing was really a morality play.
Right.
Which I don't want to see in my fucking superhero movies.
At all.
At all.
Period.
Like, don't after school special me, bro. Like, give me actual consequences.
Yes.
Yeah, it's another thing. They ain't got no consequences.
Thank you. Yes.
With Dragon Ball Z with the Dragon Balls. It's just
like everything just goes away.
And everything back
Like, what the fuck?
froze.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck was Maxwell Lord not immediately taken to like fucking Blackgate or some shit?
Right.
Exactly.
He was chilling in the meadow with his son, and I'm like, is he not arrested? What?
with his Asian son.
Right. I love how you brought that up
Saying
multiple
that he's
times.
like, why was he adopted or
His
something?
Asian son.
Thank you.
His
Thank you. Was
Asian
he adopted? Thank you. Where is the mother at? Where is go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead, Derek. It's still your floor. It's still your floor. You're still on.
Nah, y'all cool. Because trust me, this is what I wanted. Like, I need, like I said, for us to gel and really bring out all this shit, man.
Oh yeah. I was gonna get to it. I was gonna let you say what you need to say, and then I was gonna let everybody, but hey, you step ahead, go ahead, brother. No worries.
Also, Alric, I love your points, but what is it exactly that you expected Linda Carter to further do beyond the gratuitous cameo?
So I mean, I know the gratuitous cameo like is a thing.
Yeah.
Well, one, I'm like, okay, we're honoring her, but why did it have to be post credits? One, because some people leave, some people don't. But after that movie, I definitely want to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But also, I would like maybe how Stan Lee does his little cameos that kind of help the character along just a teensy weensy bit.
Mhm.
That's what I would have liked. Like instead of just bad bitch in my trench coat. Like I would have enjoyed here's a nugget to your plot, and then Diana, thank you for this Easter egg. I am going to the next obstacle. Instead of just because Linda Carter is the GOAT. Like I think it was mishandled and not given the just due.
I mean,
Linda Carter could have the speech that Steve Trevor gave.
I actually watched when I
Right.
was
Why didn't she get that good speech? Well, I mean, it wasn't good, but yes, why she getting to get the speech?
Hold on, Dave. What was that you just said? Like by Linda Carter?
The whole speech that Steve Trevor gave, Linda Carter could have gave it to her and handed it over to Armor. That would have made more sense.
Okay.
And then they could have got rid of the post credits. It just would have made more sense to me.
But if my memory's correct, she was the woman in Legend that officially had the shield and the armor on. So I guess in a way they wanted you to know that she survived. She didn't die. It's a feel-good movie.
As a matter of fact, speaking of Linda Carter, and this is somebody who was raised around nothing but fucking adults with one TV, so I had no choice but to actually sit there and watch fucking Wonder Woman. I've seen the show. By the way, didn't take place in the 80s. I know for a fact. That shit was, I think, 74 to about 79, something like that.
I see. Okay.
But even so, what did you really expect Linda Carter to do, or for the writers to really equip her with? Because what was she finna do? Spin around and do some Wonder Woman shit like she did in the goddamn show?
No, I'm saying how Stan Lee. I mean, what was that? Spider-Man or
Also, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but another point: Linda Carter ain't Stan Lee. That's why she didn't get the cameo you were probably looking for. Stan Lee created a whole goddamn universe.
You want her to be a custodian or passing some food or be a bus driver? Or
That's
like
what
that?
I'm saying.
You see Stan cutting somebody's hair and they're messing up stuff. You see Stan was the man. Stan
But
did
she too big
Could
for
have been
that.
in the 80s hair salon doing her thing, or something. Like I feel like
She could have been a pedestrian in the mall or something.
right.
She could have saved a little black girl.
Thank you.
Pull out the way real quick. We know because I think me and David talked about that yesterday. To touch it because I see both where Derek is coming from and I see Ark where you coming from. Because me and David touched on that talking about we felt like it was a waste for her to do the ending credit scene. We kind of would like to in the middle of the film or something to something different. Even though how old we said she was, she like 76. How old we said she was?
79, I think.
79. Yeah.
79.
Yeah, she's 79. Wow. She still looked good for 79 because we all know.
69? I think it was 69.
I can't remember if it was 69 or 79, but she's up there.
I'm sorry, sidebar. Raise your hand if you saw the footage of her. This ain't got shit to do with shit, but raise your hand if you seen the footage of Linda Carter dancing with the Jackson 5 on that goddamn variety show looking good as fuck.
No, I've never seen it. Now I'm gonna look this up. Right.
Yeah, I'm about to watch that. I'm about to look that up.
I was getting down, man.
You gotta share screen, James, after.
Right?
Look that up when you get a chance.
I'm gonna put a pin in that real quick.
Right.
But like she for her age, I mean, she looks good because we all know black don't crack unless you Cicely Tyson. Sorry, we love you, Cicely Tyson. However, we know once we love Cicely Tyson. We do love her, but she is up there in age. She's very seasoned. However, we know people of the other pigmentation, when they get up there in age, they don't look too. They starting to really fade or whatever. But hey, it is what it is. Hey, I'm just saying. So when I saw Linda Carter, I was like, even like when they did DC fan base, and they like, I got surprised they showed Linda Carter. I'm like, Linda Carter? That's you? And so I was like, okay, bet. But I kind of
It's Carter?
Yeah.
You won't let me.
Also, before I forget, let me ask, who else noticed that half-ass shoehorn scene that was clearly a reshoot at the end, where it was taking place during Christmas time because they knew it was going to be a Christmas release?
Wondering
Like
why
shot
they
that
did
shit for that purpose.
because
There
that
was
made
continuity issues too.
I was like, y'all really trying to insult my intelligence as an audience member right now.
It was that same backdrop from the riot, the same location from the riot, but just with snow on top.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
different extras. And I'm like, y'all, come on.
Look at that song there.
The extras were overacting. Like, I don't, everybody was like, oh, ooh. I was like, what is going
I'm
on?
telling you, that winking scene for like 25 seconds. How you wink with your whole eye? It's just,
Yeah, the mall
Yeah,
robbery, it was so much that was weird.
And even
Go ahead.
even the
Steve.
full cheetah transformation. On the whole body, you cheetah, you got the fur, but the face was like you just stamped, just made some makeup. I'm like, come on, man, y'all could have did better than that.
As a matter of fact, I want to see if anybody can answer this question truthfully. Before we continue, how many cheetahs actually are there or were there?
Total
Total
four.
I think it was
Total
3
four.
or 4.
like four.
Total four.
Yeah, it was 3 women and 1 man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That's right. It was total of 4. It was 1 man.
I know one started with a P. The other one started with like Deborah or something. It was 4 of them.
The other 2 before Barbara don't really fucking matter because she's looked at as like the quintessential cheetah anyway. As a matter of fact, I believe Barbara in the comics, she killed the cheetah before her to actually gain more of her power because at the time she was in a relationship with Captain Zoom. I'm sorry, Professor Zoom. And he basically convinced her to do that to, get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, yo, if you want to get stronger, knock this bitch off real quick.
See, that's more interesting to me than what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
So in the movie, I know, David, you were saying that was like inaccurate, but how did she get her powers in the comic book?
Well, she made a wish, and then the guy who actually made the stone, I think somebody mentioned that earlier, came back and cursed her to make the wish permanent.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it happened because she wasn't a virgin. That's why she.
Yeah. She wasn't a virgin.
Yeah.
And she leaded an expedition to Africa or something like that.
Yeah, she was so
And
cute.
she had to kill one of the guardians who was guarding the stone or whatever was there.
Mhm.
And she wasn't a virgin,
So
it was more like a blessing and a curse.
see that that sounds so much more interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot with it's a lot with the comic books. It's like because they don't have all the full rights. So now they're really starting to get their full rights. Like we all talk about this, like how X-Men wouldn't put the right things into the story to make it all make sense. And that's why David was saying, why don't you copy and paste it? And we wish that us as fans wish they would do that because we love to see it. We want to see our comic books told on screen. But there are times somebody behind the scenes with a pen saying, nah, that don't make sense, don't do that, or they don't have all the rights to these characters or to the certain storyline to make it all flow and work. Same thing, like I don't know if you saw Avengers Endgame or Avengers Endgame and Avengers, that everybody that was in there in that comic book, it's supposed to be like pretty much the whole Marvel universe was fighting Thanos and the Black Order, but they couldn't use them.
Oh,
They couldn't use everybody, but that's why they use Wakanda, their soldiers and everybody else to make it seem, and you got whoever you could. Finally,
'Cause
now they finally got all
with
the
Fox or whoever with this whole royalty beef about like who owns what characters.
yeah. Wait,
But
what was
DC
that?
don't have that problem.
Yeah, DC don't have that problem. They own
DC
all
don't
their
have that
characters.
problem. They own all their stuff, but it's somebody ahead of them that's telling them that I don't think this would translate well to
Mm-hmm.
live action, but they're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, I think it has something to do because one of those problems I have with the movie, why wasn't Cheetah the primary antagonist in the movie?
Because they
that-
wanted to
that
make
is
a
a-
morality play.
Hmm?
Because they wanted to make a morality play. Like that was the play from the get-go. That's why, like I said before, there was no actual clear villain. The villain was actually selfishness, ego, vanity, and human nature. So Maxwell Lord was basically just a
The
human
catalyst.
trying to grab his shit.
Right.
So was Cheetah. Like that's what they were playing on.
mhm.
That's like putting vegetables in my
Also,
cereal. I don't
the
want.
whole holiday theme and shit.
That's like putting vegetables in my cereal.
That was really important. Like I feel like that's what they were trying to
Like
push.
DC has a hard time fleshing out villains, and that's just been their issue for all of their movies so far. At least the bad ones, in my opinion, like Suicide Squad or this movie is just they don't know how to flesh out a villain properly. Give that villain the time to fester and mold and grow into that's a villain. Like that's a villain. But
Let me stop you right there though. Did you like Captain America: The First Avenger?
The very first one.
it grew on me.
Yeah, it was all right.
Grew on me.
Who was the villain in that? I'm trying
Exactly. See,
That's
my point.
okay. I was literally trying to remember though.
Red
Okay.
Skull.
Hydra and Red Skull was the villain.
Red Skull.
Okay.
He said exactly. See, and that's
I
the
like them
problem
loosely.
that's the problem with these superhero films. It's like we finally they got it right with Black Panther. Somebody got it right with Killmonger. It's like we're just. I mean, well, yeah, I know we about to go with.
Yeah, we could go with Loki in the first Thor
Loki
movie.
was
Go
great.
with Loki,
Great villain.
and then we could go with Loki in the Avengers.
Wait.
Movie.
Let's not mix these two universes up because that's an unfair advantage. We're going
Yeah.
That is
just down talking DC.
Okay, best villain DC film wise, I have to go with Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins.
Are you going that far back?
I was
Yeah,
looking at
DC.
him. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
That's the OG.
I do not like those Batman movies, man. I do not.
I only like them for the villains. I only like them for the villains.
I'm gonna be honest with you. With those Christian Bale Batman films, every single movie, the supporting cast and the villains outshine that man.
He made a terrible Batman to me.
Everybody had
terrible Batman.
Bale.
He got beat up by dogs. Batman ain't getting beat up by dogs.
Dog.
And for
Batman.
a Batman movie,
Before they
Batman
nerfed
movie, I
listen,
want to see fight scenes up close.
No,
For some reason, the camera is zoomed in, and all you
listen
see is
to me,
blood.
man. Listen to me, man. Before they
tell me
nerfed him in
now,
Justice
somebody-
League,
Who
Ben
was the
Affleck was a
best
better
Batman?
on-screen Batman. Ben Affleck was a better on-screen Batman. I'm sorry.
With the voice
Yeah.
Where is she? But he got a smoker's lung, man. I prefer a voice changer than somebody with emphysema trying to back me up off my feet, asking where is she?
Do you
Yeah, that
You
acting.
will.
You know what? I'll give you credit. At least you didn't say Michael fucking Keaton with that goddamn.
Oh, I like
No.
Keaton. Keaton was the best Batman. Sorry.
Batman.
Uh-oh.
Ben
really?
Affleck got the height,
Sexy
he got the
Batman.
skill, and the
Yeah.
choreography.
I'm from that era, man. Not Michael Keaton was the best one to me.
The sexy Batman. He was trying the sexy voice. You like that?
The sex.
Not the second.
They all be trying to do the little. I don't like. Okay, that's another thing. Is that a thing in the comics? Again, I'm a comic not person, so I don't know.
They kind of changed it like when Christian Bale came out and started doing alternate his voice. Then they start putting it in the video games and everything. Well, in the video games, he has like a little thing that changes, alters his voice, makes it deeper. But in the
Right.
comic
To be
books,
fair,
it's
to be
also-
honest,
yeah,
watch Batman the animated series to get a good idea of what you want your Batman to behave and sound
pretty
and
much.
look like.
But
Hey,
honestly,
Kevin Conroy didn't have that problem.
Conroy, though.
Kevin
Not
Conroy,
at
who
all.
voiced him in
Not
the
at all.
animated series, didn't
He
have
the
that problem.
goat.
No.
He the goat.
So we might as well say Kevin Conroy is the best Batman.
He the goat.
All is dirt.
We might- the man that does the voice acting is the best Batman that only had one appearance on the DC of
That was trash, man. That was trash.
Trash. That was disappointing.
Very disappointing.
Oh my god. So okay, so
Oh, I'm sorry, yo. To get back to Wonder Woman, though, I did have one more point.
Go ahead.
I hated the ending.
Okay.
I hated the fact that everything went back to normal.
Mm,
There were no lasting consequences or effects. Like, this man literally fucked up the entire world, and everything just went back to normal.
yeah. Very true. Very true.
As a matter of fact, he's the same guy that played Oberyn Martell
In Game of Thrones.
in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Because
You
of
murdered
that, I was waiting for him to explode. As soon as I seen him had that first goddamn headache, I was like, he's gonna explode.
Yeah.
I was waiting on it.
When the nose and stuff was bleeding, I was like, yo, nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, let him explode, please, to make this movie what it needs to be.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. It,
Patty Jenkins.
Cause
I didn't
apparently
even mind how they set him up. Like with the son is a little iffy, but for the most part, he at least had some character development, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'd say as an actor, Pedro Pascal did. As a matter of fact, to me, he was the best part of the movie performance-wise.
Yeah. Very true.
I just hated his lines. He had the stupidest lines, like that monologue about "I just want to touch people, as many people as possible." I was like, "Who wrote this, bro?"
See, what I think what it was for him
cheesy.
is that he looked at the script and saw it for what it was. Because at the beginning, he was hamming it up. When he was talking, I'm talking about full-on cheese ham. We talking about like, come on in, we're gonna go.
Right.
Yeah.
He's hamming it up. Like that.
Yeah,
Like, like, I'll give you an example. And I'm gonna get back to Wonder Woman. What's his name? RIP to this guy, Raul Julia, in the
Bison.
first in Bison in Street Fighter. He was a RIP to him. He was a very good actor, but he was the only one that got it because it was a trash movie. They messed up so much with it. I don't want to go too much into Street Fighter, but he saw it for what it was, and he's like, "I'm gonna have fun with this." Because he was on his number one, he was on his deathbed. Two, his kids wanted him to, do the film because that was their dying wish before he passed away. And he saw it for like this. You know what? Nobody really has an idea of who M. Bison was yet. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna show you what to do with it. How to have. He was the only entertaining character on there to have fun. The only one that on that film had fun with it, who's hamming it up. Every time it came to M. Bison, he is like full on in. Giving all the energy.
That's a directing thing, you know, like not to cut you off, but that's a directing thing. Like you're making sure as a director, you're making sure all your actors know like this is the overall aesthetic and concept of what I'm going for. And then also with the takes and the editing team, all of that, you're looking at all of these performances saying, oh, that's in this movie. That ain't in this movie. That's a feel thing. And with Patty Jenkins, I've always been a little doubtful if she's understood that, because it felt like Gal was in a completely different. Actually, Chris Pine too, and I love Chris Pine, but Gal and Chris Pine were in a completely different movie than Kristen Wiig and Pedro. What's got Pedro? Pedro was. It felt like they were in two completely different movies as far as performance-wise.
Speaking of which,
even old girl from Insecure, Kelly, she was kitschy.
Oh, yeah, she wasn't there.
80s. Yeah, she had her little moment. I was like, okay, so this is what this story is. But Gal was so serious.
There is one thing I forgot to bring up though. We've yet to talk about the deficiencies in Gal Gadot's acting.
Yeah.
I don't know how I even missed that. It was
I
not.
think she was so hot in the first one. We just
Yeah, man, she's just so hot overall, man.
and I'm usually
Not
not that
occurred to me how
person,
bad
but
she was until this movie. I actually counted. I was like, damn, she got 4 facial expressions, and that is it.
Into the chopper.
It's like what was it like? Was it in wrestling, Stephen? Like me and you watch wrestling every now and then, or get a chance to.
Yeah.
It's like when you get that fine chick who look good, and you want to put her out there just because she look good, but she don't know how to wrestle, not for a lick to save her
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I'm gonna try with this one. We gonna hope you can make it.
Lana.
Yeah, Lana. She look good.
Fine as hell, but
Yeah,
can't wrestle.
yeah. The
One
only
thing I will say about her male counterparts, as far as action movies are concerned, especially the classic dudes like Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, they had charisma.
yeah.
right.
As a matter of fact, I'll go further than that as to say, okay, so we'll take it back even further. Say the aliens, right?
Mhm.
I have no problem at all deferring to somebody like Sigourney Weaver playing a Ripley, especially if I'm in that situation and I'm like, okay, she the head bitch in charge.
Mhm.
I believe her.
Mhm.
Even with Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman, who is OP as fuck,
Yes.
I don't believe you.
Right.
If we're in a situation where it's all hands on deck and you gotta save my life on some real shit, I don't believe you.
It's how she's written. In this
She
in this
just acts
iteration,
too cool.
she's docile. You know,
Right.
like she's down to help. I'm going to help you, but I'm not gonna really show too much emotion behind it.
Exactly.
I'm a well reserved woman. I'm a strong woman that don't show no emotions.
Mm.
Right.
So
And that's hard to follow as a lead. You can have those moments for supporting characters,
Mhm.
but usually those moments are not for a lead. Now we can
Yeah.
talk about if it's for a lead woman or lead man. That's more a conversation about, like how we see gender on film.
Mhm.
But I know there's been a whole bunch of performances where we've accepted that kind of performance from a man.
No. Matter of fact, I was
Yeah.
getting to that too.
Yeah.
What this performance reminded me of, I was watching Just Mercy the other day.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
Movie.
Michael B. Jordan had the exact same shit going on.
Mhm.
There was a scene where he was in the fucking courtroom having to deliver this heavy speech,
Mhm.
and he was just wooden
Yeah.
the entire nigga. His face expression ain't changed one time.
Good movie, by the way.
He wasn't like that in the police brutality drama. What was that? Remember that?
Fruitvale Station.
Yeah, he was not like that. That's something new in the last like 3 or 4 years. Now he's like, I'm so big, he brolic now. So I don't know, but he was not. He was a great actor like early on. There's been a change recently.
I only brought that up to just make the point that I notice it in everybody
Right.
because I have no life. I watch movies and TV shows and have my opinions.
Yeah.
As you
I'm-
should.
Yeah. So let's put it like this. We'll
As
do
a matter of fact, I'm really no authority on anything entertainment wise because I still watch Adventure Time and Lemon Grab entertains the fuck out of me.
we
He
all
talks about nothing and just screams, and I laugh my ass off like a fucking little ass kid. So
we are all full grown men here, and we all have that one thing we're like, okay, I still watch this. And I don't care. What do you
Yeah.
So,
Still watch Power Rangers, not the new one.
Hey, watch Power Rangers.
From 1995 till 2006. That's it.
yeah.
You
I'm
know.
a huge fan of SpongeBob. I just finished watching it prior to this.
Yeah. So
Milton.
we all have it.
Milton, what is it that you still watch that we all should not be watching, but we still do? That we hold on to as our childhoods?
That's a good question.
I'm
I'm gonna go ahead.
Only thing I can possibly think of right now is just anime in general. As probably what I can just think of.
It's all right. Hey, it's all good. We were sitting joking about that little
Even
boy
though-
that
Even though anime is slowly becoming normalized, but you still have
Yeah.
they'll be like, you watch that?
hey man. I'm right through. Like pretty much whatever comes across that I watched as a kid. I just watch Animaniacs. last month. like I'm a little kid.
Dude, Animaniacs was not meant for kids. I
No,
just
it was
really
Yeah, yeah.
No.
It
When she
No.
told him to get the fingerprints, and when I rewatched that as a like I think I'm like 19 when I re-seen that episode with the total fingerprints. And she had prints in the palm of her hand sitting. And he was like, no, that's not what I meant. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, you got to throw him out the room. Oh my God, bro. So let's say this. So let's all give our thoughts on who could have played Wonder Woman, and then we'll give our closing thoughts on it on the DC. So let's take a time out. Who, you give me your own personal opinion, who would have cast as Wonder Woman? I do like Gal Gadot, but I also thought about it where I was like, you know what? If somebody else were to pick up the mantle of Wonder Woman, who else could do it and pull it off? Because that was a big thing when she first came out. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Because everybody was talking about she not as thick as Wonder Woman. She like, so who would have cast? Y'all thoughts?
To be honest with you, I couldn't have picked anyone else because I don't really know too many female actors that will fix the juxtapose of Wonder Woman. And like I said, I liked her in the first one. I liked her in BVS.
Yeah.
It's just this movie just regressed. Like your villain in the first movie is better than your villain in the second movie. And the pacing in the first movie is better than the villain the pacing in the second movie. So like I don't really want to just, say okay. I really just don't want to say that how I would recast someone because I don't know how, but I don't think this affected DCEU financially. I mean, it may have affected them with the casual fans or moviegoers, but when you was naming off those Google reviews, IDMB, Rotten Tomatoes, that stuff was a lot higher than what I expected it to be. So I think, like I said, it was just a safe movie to put something out until they can figure out what to do with the Snyder Cut, if it's positive or negative feedback.
It was just a filler movie to me. That's what I thought it. It was just a filler movie. And as far as recasting, if I had a choice, like Gal Gadot would always be like my first choice. But if, like, say Gal Gadot didn't exist, I would go for, the person that voices her in the animated movies, which is Rosario Dawson. I think that's her name.
Rosario Dawson.
Same thing.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson.
That would be a good pick.
Yeah, she's great.
She playing what's the name in Star Wars right now?
In the Mandalorian, right, or something.
I can't think of the name right now. She doing that, but I mean,
she got a long name. That character has a long.
Yes, she does. David, do you have any thoughts on who you think would be a good Wonder Woman? I like Gal Gadot, but like I said, if she were to drop the mantle, who would have you picked?
I'm sitting there thinking I can't think of nobody else except the person who voices the character on the TV show or in the movies.
Yeah, back then, well, I'm talking about way back then. They would have, but no, I ain't gonna say it. I was gonna say Lucy Lawless, but that's way back then. If this were to come out, way back then.
Xena.
Oh, Xena, absolutely.
Oh,
that's a great choice.
Yeah, man, all that little, yeah, man, that was like that was my.
Right, that was my show.
Yeah, man, Xena, like that was the first time I said, who's this white woman on TV? And I say, besides Kimberly, my dad looking at me strange, like, son, what is wrong with you? Like, man, I don't know. Like, son, why are you watching this? I'm like, watch this, daddy. He's like, oh, okay, so that's just me. I'm sorry. I had a thing for Xena and who was Callisto. She was crazy on Xena War Pimps. I had a thing for her too. I like crazy chicks sometimes. I don't know. Hey, whatever. Things change. Anyways. So
as a matter of fact, you know what? If they would have made Wonder Woman, say 20 years ago, don't call me crazy.
Go ahead.
I think she would have had the range to pull it off, and this is just one of my choices. Say we making Wonder Woman 96.
Who?
Gina Davis.
Okay.
Yeah. She does have the acting chops, and she does got the action. Yeah, she could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
Or if you want to go ultra mainstream, And say we made Wonder Woman maybe 10 years ago, the obvious choice would have been Charlize Theron.
Hands down.
That's a good.
Okay.
Very,
Okay.
very good pick.
Our African sister.
There.
Okay. Okay.
Princess.
Now, since we going like to the 90s up in that area, if it was cast, I think the chick that played Katana in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Talisa Soto.
Lisa
Yeah.
Soto. Oh,
Yeah.
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 And she could have pulled it off.
She could have pulled it off. She had the look and everything.
Since she was the only character that wasn't recast for some reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just another topic.
I know she was in 00. She was in a James Bond film too, I believe. Talisa Soto, but that's a very good pick. I think she was.
The only other thing I remember her in was a Johnny Depp movie where he like played a dude who thought he was like Don Juan. He was like in a mental institution. As a matter of fact, Tiny Lister was in that movie too. He played an orderly.
Gotcha. I think I remember. I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. R.I.P. to Tiny Lister as well.
R.I.P.
I remember what I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the freaking name of it right now. But so with that being said, we got about to go ahead and wrap this up. My closing thoughts on the film. So to everyone out there, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen Wonder Woman, from these gentlemen right here, it's one of those films where you're gonna catch some things that probably don't look right to you. You'll enjoy it for what it is. That's why we call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. As far as the state of DC, I know we all waiting for the Snyder Cut. We're all waiting for that because we want to see that story being told.
I'm waiting on it.
I'm waiting on it. I want to see what they do with it. We want to see what the Batman, the Robert Pattinson one, how that comes out when that happens.
Yeah.
I still thought it was funny as hell how you know what I still thought it was funny as hell in that Batman where that henchman walked up and said, who you supposed to be? And Milton talked about that. Where I said, bro, why did this one bad guy walk up to this dude in his bat suit and say, who do you want to be? Get beat up and watch all his homeboys just stood back.
Yeah, his homeboys don't jump in.
Yeah, like
now that's Batman-like. Christian Bale could never, but keep going.
but I had a good healthy laugh when he said, who you supposed to be? Boom, boom, boom. Break. Boom, 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 boom. And his homeboys just sitting there.
Man, it sounded like he killed that dude.
like y'all watching me get hurt right now. Please come to something. But anyways, so the state of DC. Like I always said that Marvel is a way step ahead of y'all, but as cartoons, y'all got it. Y'all, like we all agreed upon that. The cartoons, like y'all knock out of the park. So y'all need to get. Me and David talked about that too with that last Justice League, where was it Justice League Dark Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that pissed me off.
It did. What happened? How did it piss you off? What happened? I want to hear this.
No, I said you have all these characters that just have no speaking roles. In this last movie to wrap everything up.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was the main.
Too many.
Yeah. I see his point. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
And I can't think of everything else that pissed me off about that movie because I'm
was it Shazam getting his leg ripped off and beat with his own leg?
Yeah. Like, come on, bro. Also, how the fuck does Damian Wayne survive?
The power of love. The power of love.
The
Power of love.
Oh man.
It took an anime move, and he used the power of love to come back.
The power of
I'm
love.
talking as far as like the first assault, and all he had to arm himself was a fucking sword and ninja skills. Blue Beetle has a whole exoskeleton extraterrestrial suit. Niggas got magical powers and shit. Starfire is from another planet, and she gets ripped apart, yet Damien survives. What the
I don't think, did Damien go with them?
Yeah, he was in that battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got punched in the
Again,
water.
another problem I had with it. Now y'all got me thinking about it. They didn't show the initial battle where shit went down. I wanted to see it.
I made Derek upset, y'all. I made the man think about it. He felt like he about to go back and like, man, look,
right now. My
this-
fault, my fault.
Hey, you should have led with maybe Batman Under the Red Hood.
yeah, I probably should have led with that. So I should have led with so these comic book films has a way of making us upset. We have our moments when we enjoy it, but then we have some problems where we look at like, what are y'all doing? So the state of DC, what's up next? We got the Snyder Cut, right? So I'm gonna look
Yeah.
and see.
You got that. You got Black Adam.
You got the next one coming out is Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah,
And it better not be trash like the first one. I'm
They
sorry.
doing another
You
Suicide.
know,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
the first one had so much promise, man, but they rushed it. There's no way you should have a Suicide Squad that includes the Rogue Gallery with not one standalone Batman film introducing the Rogue Gallery.
Yeah.
And that movie was only watchable because of Will Smith.
Right.
I'm just,
Margot Robbie.
And
Will
Mark-
Smith.
and Maggie Robbie.
Megan Robbie, yeah.
That's
And
it.
this is the
The
thing.
plot was
Yeah, Will
stupid.
Smith.
The reason they came together was stupid.
Yeah.
It made no sense. But just because Will Smith and Margot Robbie, succeeded in them
excellent chemistry.
roles
They have great
and the
Mhm.
chemistry,
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Also,
Look,
like,
But
like
you
y'all
take
said,
them out. Oh,
They should have just took the art from the comic, Assault on Arkham, and used that
yep.
and done.
They really could.
What I keep saying. Copy and paste. It's simple.
Copy and paste.
Pretty much.
You breaking into Arkham, Batman coming in at the same time, it would have been perfect. You would have had like a little Batman movie with the Suicide Squad movie. Done.
Pretty much.
But in this new one, I have faith in what's the director? Gunn. I have faith in Gunn. He gave us Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. So
They got characters
we'll
I
see.
never heard of, so I don't know.
Yeah, so
So I'm kind of on the fence about it.
oh my gosh. Well, gentlemen, this was fun. I appreciate y'all for sharing y'all thoughts, your frustrations. That's why I said, hey, if y'all want to, we can do this again on some other ones. Whatever
Okay.
next. I don't know what's the next big movie that's gonna come out next year to start us off, but we'll
Coming to America. Coming to America.
Coming to America.
Yeah, that coming out in March. Come out.
Yeah, Coming to America. Come out in March. We can do it for that one.
If it's bad, I'm not coming on here.
we haven't gotten where we can discuss Black discourse. No, we're
The
not there
trailer
yet.
was pretty good. I like the trailer. The trailer was pretty good.
Trailer was pretty funny. Trailer was really good.
We'll
And it showed too much.
we will all watch it, and I will ask y'all collectively what you thought. And if it's a no-go, then I'm like, yeah, we ain't gonna do that because we ain't gonna waste time. I ain't got time to hey. So, but
Not the Black film. Okay, I get what he's saying. I agree.
we'll all watch these and we'll say
Unless it's like
yeah, and then we'll say if it's a yes,
Yeah.
we're like well yes. If it's a no, then hey, we'll look for the next big blockbuster film. But I can't even talk blockbuster film, and we'll go from there. So with that being said, thank you, gentlemen, again. For sharing your thoughts and frustrations. Get yourself something to drink, play the video game, whatever it is that y'all do to wind down on this Sunday. Y'all have a good one, man. See y'all and next time, man. And this is Joffrey's VIP.
All right.
Don't forget to like.
Nice to meet everybody.
nice meeting everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
y'all.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate
Breezy.
All right. Yes, sir.
Crazy.
All right.
All right,
Peace.